So, in another video I mentioned about in His Girl Friday about speedy dialogue. Well, today I'm actually going to be talking about no sound. So, first I'd like to mention that with all of today's movie technology, slapping together a film is really easy. So easy, it's actually taken for granted. Like sound on camera. I propped my phone up and I pushed a button, and here I am. I can also edit this really simply if I mess up, so that didn't take much talent and very, very little effort. For a successful film way back before sound was even perfected, a lot of talent was required. And this is why old movies are such a form of artwork. Silent films, particularly comedies, relied entirely on impressive stunt work and exaggerated movements. And that is where I'm going to bring up Buster Keaton and Roscoe Fatty Arbuckle. We saw a bunch of short two-reeler films, about 20 or so minutes long, most of them, with Fatty and Buster both in them. And we also saw a feature-length Keaton film called Battling Butler, which was today's old movie of the week, by the way. Buster Keaton was known for his deadpan facial expression that quickly became his trademark and even earned him the nickname Great Stone Face. He did all of his own stunt work and came up with the gags himself, and wrote and directed his early films were completely independent. And really unfortunately, they eventually became too expensive, and he ended up signing on to a major studio, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, which he later said was the worst career decision he'd ever made, because he lost the creative freedom that he had before. Nevertheless, he was still a remarkable performer. His stunts were very inventive, and a lot of them were pretty wild. Then there's Fatty Arbuckle, who played the big fat hero in all of his shorts. Everything about this guy was pretty comical. And although limited to silence, he made his personality very visible on screen. His facial expressions alone, I mean, were quite funny. My favorite of their shorts that they did were The Butcher Boy, Buster's first film actually he was ever in, and then Out West and The Bellboy, which also have Buster co-starring in them. Also, I'd like to mention Alan St. John, who was also in most of the Fatty Arbuckle. He usually plays the villain, and we did see a one or two where he wasn't the villain, which was kind of cool after seeing him play the villain so many times. But he did a great job as well. Even whenever he didn't have a really big part, it was still pretty cool to see him because his stunt work was also very impressive. These films did not have a lot of plot, but at the same time, then they didn't really need to, especially the short two-reel ones. They were just for fun, entertainment. Something I like about seeing them, though, is that at this time, film was an entirely new concept, and people were still experimenting with it. Alfred Hitchcock once said, if it's a good movie, the sound could go off, and the audience would still have a perfectly clear idea what was going on. So imagine in a silent film, the acting skills involved here would be to say something without speaking.